YouTube.
Okay, thanks, Todd.
You're good.
Hey, send it to Tom Brigden too.
Okay. YouTube.
So we have a quorum though. There's Andrew Madison. He couldn't get in. He was in the other system too. We got everybody on. All right.
I'm just glad I wasn't the only one that called into the wrong one.
Yeah, I was in the executive committee meeting also.
I was right there.
We had a quorum on both sides.
Yeah, we got a lot done in that other meeting.
We did. All right, well, let's get started. So let's do roll call. We'll probably have a couple people join, but I'm just going to go down who I see on the screen. So Mayor Kessler.
Present.
Councilmember Markham.
I'm here.
Councilmember Saad.
Present.
I'm going very official tonight.
Yes.
Andy Madison.
Here.
Jeff Walker.
Here?
Councilmember Lamke.
Here.
Heidi McCabe.
Here.
Sarah Gould.
Here.
And Zahi Ben David.
Here.
All right, good. Okay, so you can see the meeting agenda there on my screen. I think we're going to start with our properties updates, and then we've got a couple things to talk about in the we have one thing at least to talk about in the finance report, and then we've got some items to talk about in executive session. So Bexley Square update, I think that you can see there, if you look down at the checking account, we've got a pretty healthy balance there, which means that I believe means that everybody's paying their rent. The one I don't know about, and we should have checked on today, Heidi, and I just forgot, was VIP nails. But I didn't, I forgot to check and see how they're doing. You didn't hear anything from Lydia about that one, did you, Heidi?
I didn't. And then while everybody was logging on, I remembered from my notes last meeting that I promised I would circulate it, kind of a rent roll and rent update to the committee, and I didn't do that. So I'll do that after this board meeting.
Okay, great.
But and I'll also follow up with Lydia. I only have the actual numbers. I think she's only closed out through September. So I'll circulate that, but then I'll get a more current update on anyone else that may be outstanding.
Great. Ben, do you want to talk about the painting? We asked for painting to be done because, things were kind of getting a little squirrely. Is that done now, or did they get the right color?
Yeah, they got the right color. I think it's done. I haven't looked closely. But it was showing up pretty bright white, but they're now matching, and it looks good. It matches Brassica really well.
Well, that's good.
In the future, next time we do this, we need to either tuck point or somehow fill in. There's some mortar gaps occurring underneath some of the windows, especially on the north side of the building. I think we got a tuck pointing estimate years ago. I think that when you've painted the brick, you can use caulking as opposed to tuck pointing between bricks, but I'd like to get a second opinion on that. So that could be a lot less expensive.
Okay.
Nate.
Yeah, that's not something. Yeah, Todd.
So this 306,000, does this, over how much time have we accumulated this cash? Is it since inception or?
Well, yeah, it's since inception, but remember that we paid, and Todd, I know you know this, but remember we paid off the initial line of credit as well. So we have not paid off our balance on the line of credit since then. But yeah, that's really the accumulation minus paying off that line of credit. And then also minus paying, we pay the city $10,000 a month out of that account as well. So the rest of it is just the accumulation of rents over and above all the expenses.
And are we current with the city of Bexley on the amount that we owe them?
I believe we are, Todd. We pay, Newmark pays the city every month for that, right, Heidi?
That's right. Although, we did get an email from Lydia this month that there are some, it looks like expenses that perhaps we need to settle up with the city that maybe we haven't been notified of them yet, but usually we pay some snow removal and ship in we have some maintenance costs. So there will be some other expenses that are coming out of that, but not that monthly amount.
Right.
That we're current on.
Okay. We just need to continue to monitor the credit markets and the interest rates. You know, I don't know whether interest rates will climb in 2021 or not, but if we do see them climbing, we should consider putting a 10-year, you know, CMBS mortgage on it and taking out that cash.
Right. We've talked about, after we kind of get past this immediate line of credit, really thinking through more long-term strategies and putting more thought into that.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that a little bit more detail in executive session as well, Todd, because we have to talk. There's a property that we need to talk about, and that will it'll prompt that discussion. So that makes I agree.
Dave, I'm here.
Hey, Dave. Hey, well, roll call. Dave Bolin, are you there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Todd Friedman, you need
Yep.
to check in too.
Yep.
Great. Thanks, guys. Okay. Other questions about Bexley Square?
It's doing good.
It is. Doing great.
Yeah.
No real updates on Cassidy. We still have 2 tenants that are there. They're still paying rent. You know, we're still paying our bills there, so there's nothing really new to report on that property. Ferndale Properties, Ben, do you have any updates on the Department of Health, or we really haven't heard anything much more on the demolition? I think we're waiting on the Department of Health, but any updates there?
I don't have any updates on that. I've asked Mark to talk to the council over the Department of Health, and he's not on the call tonight. So I'll get an update on that.
Okay, great. Okay. All right, so moving on to our finance report. We want to start, maybe we'll do this in reverse order. Heidi, do you want to go through just the bank balances first, and then we can get to the line of credit after that?
Sure. You're saying what is there in section 3B?
Yep.
Okay, so, right. So I'll just quickly run through them. We kind of talked through some of the elements there. So Bexley Square account, that is managed by our property manager. That has about $306,000 now. We do have some amounts we need to square with the city. Not a whole lot, but that's where we stand there. The general CIC, that's just our general checking account. There's about $9,500 in there. Our North Cassidy account currently has just over $3,000 in there. That's where we pay the line of credit. The rents from Cassidy cover the line of credit costs. And then you see the amounts that we have currently for Ferndale Mayfield. And there in the line of credit is what we currently have outstanding, or what we've pulled down from First Financial. And then, you know, we carry a larger line of credit there, but we've only drawn down the $158,973. I'm getting weird feedback. I'm sorry if people are having trouble hearing me.
No trouble.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. Any questions for Heidi about the bank account? Okay, great. All right, the next thing we want to talk about is the line of credit. Our line of credit will expire. Well, we need to renew it this month. I think actually by November 13th. So we're coming up, which is one of the reasons we want to meet tonight. You know, at the last board meeting, we talked about a little bit about this, but then we talked in the executive committee as well. We went out and got proposals from 2 different banks for the line of credit. The first one is from our current line of credit, you know, the current bank, which is First Financial. The second one is the Ohio State Bank that we got a proposal from. Heidi, do you want, I'll scroll through this. I don't know if you want to talk through the highlights of each of these, or.
Sure, I
that makes
can.
sense.
And then I will say, I don't know how to do it over Zoom, but I do know that we have some board members that have interests in either or both banks. So from a discussion point of view and a voting point of view, I think those members need to abstain. But
Great point. Great point.
Mark's
Heidi.
not here. I don't know how we do that for Zoom. Okay, I see people
Well-
waving their hands.
Yeah, so Andy Madison, Todd Friedman, is there anybody else that has an interest in either of the banks?
Yes, Jeff Walker. I have an interest in Ohio State.
Okay. All right, so Andy and Todd and Jeff, please mute your lines and don't be involved in these discussions. I mean, that's, I think, the only way to do it.
That works for me.
And then I think also when it comes time to vote, make sure that you register your abstentions.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So yeah, so Heidi, go ahead and go through these if you would, and then we'll talk about them. We had a discussion with this with our executive committee already about this, and we have a recommendation from the executive committee, but we want to talk about it and get your thoughts as well from the board. So go ahead, Heidi.
Okay, so this is the current bank that we're that holds our current line of credit, First Financial, and it's the same loan amount at $750,000 for a term of 12 months. The current rate there is 5%, so this is a lower rate they're offering us, prime plus a quarter. From a loan amount point of view, and some of these questions, if may be more appropriate for executive session, but just from this line of credit discussion, they weren't really able to offer us a higher amount with going into some additional, they had some retail COVID requirements and some different underwriting requirements if we bumped it up. So the kind of cleanest was keeping it at this $750,000. You can see the fees there that are part of this. They reduced the origination fee by half. They lay out some of the other fees here. There is a little bit of savings from a fee perspective on First Financial with respect to some of the appraisal work, because it isn't requiring a full appraisal. It's requiring only sort of like an update. And that's kind of it.
Heidi, I have a question.
Yes.
Is there an unused line fee?
No, there is not.
Okay. All right, so let's move on to the Ohio State Bank proposal, which you see in front of us here. So
you can see that it is a slightly higher loan amount of $1 million. The rate is prime minus a half a point. So it's, based on what the rates were at the time that they gave us this, it's at 2 3/4. It's a little bit longer loan term of 2 years. They don't include the costs here. The ballpark of the costs, I think, will come around, they ballparked it for us around 2,000 or 3,000, I think. Is that right, Nate? And then it has the same collateral.
It was closer to 3,000, but they weren't, the fees for both of these were pretty similar, actually. I think, as we look through these, what we talked about this as the executive committee last week. The Ohio State Bank clearly wants our business. The interest rate is lower. They have the ability to do a larger amount for us without the restrictions of First Financial Bank. The 4 or 5 of us on the executive committee really thought it made more sense to work with the Ohio State Bank because of those reasons. Of course, they've already asked if we'll move our other accounts over there. We told them we'll have that conversation at a later date. But really, I mean, that's kind of where we came down as an executive committee, that we'd like to pursue the line of credit with Ohio State Bank. That also, gives us two institutions here in Bexley that we're working with, at least for now. So those are kind of my thoughts. Other, Ben or Sarah or Zahi, if you had any comments, we all talked about this obviously last week, but if you all had any comments about this and any questions from the board.
This is Todd. I noticed that the borrower is Bexley CIC. Are they interested in having the borrower just be the shopping center entity, which I believe is what is on the first community, or first, what is it? The first, whatever it's called.
Financial.
First Financial, thank you. Or does the larger entity have to be the borrower?
Honestly, Todd, we talked about it being the Bexley CIC because we use it for other assets than just the Bexley Square. It's collateralized by the Bexley Square, but we use it for other things. So that's why we have it as the Bexley CIC. And I think but if we need to, we could change that. The First Financial actually has it the same. They have it listed as the Bexley CIC. So we may have actually, Todd, changed that at some point. So it's not the entity that owns this, the SPE that owns the Square.
Thank you.
Other questions, comments?
I had a quick question. Was there an option 2 under First Financial? I know that I think when Heidi was scrolling down.
It was.
So
it was the,
no, go. Well, so it was at the larger amount. It did care. It requires more discussion and more conversations with their underwriter because of the increase and the additional. There were some additional requirements because Bexley Square is a retail center for during this COVID period. So that was more of a, it's one of the, not really a longer term option because it's for the 12 months, but it's one of the other things we talked through. And it is not something necessarily that is as straightforward.
Right. I think that we looked at that, Monique, and I think that because it was going to be a little bit, there were going to be more questions and take a little longer. We thought that the Ohio State Bank one made more sense because they didn't have those same kind of restrictions.
Okay, thanks.
I think the Ohio State Bank one's kind of a ringer. That's much better.
Well, Dave, we had the same thought, but
Just comment.
Yep.
I think between the extra term and the higher amount and the better rate, it gives us the most flexibility. And, we can spend those 24 months thinking about, as we put our broader real estate strategy into place, thinking through what the right long-term solution is.
Absolutely.
I think Ohio State Bank's going to be much more flexible too, obviously, without the restrictions that First Financial is going to require. They're just easier to work with.
All right. Well, if I don't have any other questions, can I entertain a motion to move forward with the proposal from Ohio State Bank?
Make a motion to move forward.
Dave, second?
Yep.
Did I have a first and a second? I don't know.
Yeah.
I heard two people talking.
Sorry.
I'll second. This is Jess.
Okay, thanks, Jess. All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. And abstentions?
I hear. Stay.
Dane.
Jeff Walker, abstain.
All right, thank you all. Well, that
Yep, I'm sorry, Nate, just for the minutes, I want to real quickly make sure that I got that properly. The abstentions, Jeff, Todd, and who else?
Andy.
Andy.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. All right. Well, under new business and old business, we have end of year term renewals. You have those? Because I don't.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware. Of course, I don't have it. I'm pulling it up right now. Who that is? We have. We are on an annual term cycle that starts at the beginning of next year, and so on CAC, those terms are, drum roll, Todd Friedman and Heidi McCabe are our two members up for renewal if they should so wish. So, because they're both on the call, Todd and Heidi, I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'm just going to make sure that you know about that, and would love, of course, to have you guys continue with us, but just let me know if you're cool with it.
Hey, now I got it. I mean, Heidi has to remain on. She's a treasurer. I'm not taking those duties over again. So, you know,
I only had like a 6-month treasurer term. So by the time the COVID transition happened, it's like the shortest treasurer term in the history of the CIP.
That's right. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
So,
Todd raised his hand. I think he was. What do you think, Todd?
If you guys will all have me, I'll stay on.
Absolutely, we'd love to.
Thanks, guys.
I'm in for another term as well.
All right.
Guys are good Americans and even better Bexleyites.
I love it. Okay. Well, any other new business or old business? All right. With that, I would like to entertain a motion to move into executive session per ORC 121.22 G2 to consider the purchase of property for public purposes and sale of property at competitive bidding, or the sale or other disposition of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit for use property in accordance with Section 505.10 of the revised code.
So moved.
So moved by Ben. Second?
Second.
Monique. All right. We'll do a roll call for this. So Ben Kessler?
Yes.
Dave Mullen?
Yes.
Todd Friedman?
Yes.
Heidi McCabe?
Yes.
Monique Lansky?
Yes.
Sarah Gold?
Yes.
Troy Markham?
Yes.
Zahi Ben David?
Yes.
Andrew Madison?
Yes.
And Nate Green, yes. I think I called everybody.
And Nate, quickly, as a matter of order, as we go into the other meeting, just make sure everyone knows that we need to come back into this meeting to formally adjourn. So there's gonna be a little bit of a juggling here in links.
So
And
yeah,
just for the minutes,
yeah, go ahead.
just for the minutes, Jeff Walker's a yes too.
Oh, thanks, Jeff. You know what? I didn't see you, Jeff. I didn't see you on the Jessica Sod as well. I think I missed both of you. Oh, I love Zoom. Okay. I sent a link and a calendar invite. So that is the link we need to go into for the executive session. So please get out of this one. We'll go into that one, and then we'll come back to this one to adjourn our meeting. So I hope we got that right. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in a moment.
Hi, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Don. Why would I turn my volume up?
I think we have everybody back, right? All
Hi,
right.
Bill.
So, all right, cool. So we need a motion to adjourn out of executive session.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Okay, do we have any, are there any other items that we need to bring up during our meeting tonight? Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Have a good evening. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So, second?
All
Second.
right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, thanks, everybody. Have a good
Bye,
evening.
guys.